Papa Kunjo Somno Jan Zelo Dege Dage Debat Chumdin Jiven Kacha Papa Jela Kilongi Kundin Jambana Janjo Zimbe Kundin Jum Tizi Chumdin Zaman Namba Shijavi Chujan Nandangi Dingi Zela Nyamba Jozo Yandi Janjo Zemba Zemba Jibo Baba Jirezi Wanji Shira Jibari Dujamba Sabo Jibo Nila Nambara Pumong Abo Deda Layana Jinji Tumba Nambara Tao Tene Sanji Jitu Zidan Temba Shara Tadibo Janjo Jambo Baba Shirezi Wanjo Landigi Jimezo Riji Bukanala Shira Jibari Dujambi Samu Jiban Jiban Deva De Jidar Labai Jan Digi Jimeba Janjo Zemba Zemba Jibo Baba Shirezi Wanjo Gitsudan Temba Shara Tadibo Landigi Jimezo Sharib Riji Bumo Riji Bumo Kanala Shira Jibari Dujambi Samu Jiban Jiban Deva De Didara Nabare Dawaj Tombo Ngabo Deda Layana Chinje Tomba Namba Yanda Bajizo Dao So Tomba Tomba Sole Nomba Nije Maye Nomba Nile Suje Maye No Deshindo Tsawa Non Deje Non Deje Non Namba Shiva Non Tomba Sharibo Deda Jena Je Tomba Nide Zinje Meba Majeba Mahaba Tima Meba Tima Dan Tewa Tewa Hawa Meba O Sharibo Deda Wina Tomba Nila Zume Zawa Mendije Mendije Me Namba Shiva Me Me Nawa Name Jime Lume Yime Zume Drame Drume Rume Rijame Jume Domike Game Bani Ijia Yegi Nambar Shive Gange Badoya Medo Mariba Me Mariba Zeba Me Badoya Medo Dejindo Dunge Wano Gonjo Wano Wano Lame Yishime Toba Me Mado Baya Medo Sharibo Dendra Wena Jonjo Zemban Maybe Chera Shiraja Barido Jambala Denje Nende Zela Deva Miji Daba Midi Chinje Lole Shindo Nene Yangele Debe Tara Chindo Sondo Naba Shibe Sanje Tanji Shiraja Barido Jambala Dene Lana Yandaba Zubi Janju Nongo Brazoba San Jeson Deda Wena Shiraja Barido Jambinga Riva Jambinga Lana Mebinga, Menyambada, Nyambinga, Dungi, Namjira, Shore Jibinga, Mezibina, Temperasheva, Sharaja Barade Jibinga, Mevadia, Gadi, Gadi, Para, Sangadi, Budi, so Sharibu, Janju, Simba, Deda Shiraja Barudu Jubi Samola Labra Chao Tene Dingin Zendele Shende Janju Simba Jibu Baba Jireze Wanjula Lezo Jijawa Lezo Rijibu Dede Jina Rijibu Dede Jinde Chidra Chigi Tempo Shindu Shiraja Barudu Samola Jabra Chade Dije Jeba Nanyan Jizu Yerama Chumdin Dije Dige Jika Zene Zadan Sharata Boda Chanjo Simba Jimbo Baba Jereza Wanjuna Nanje Tebe Korada Lada Mena Hamaye Deza Jibi Jide Jamne Deje Sombala Mwabara Jedo Kala Jibi Nejo Nabana Mwachi Jiryanga Dodo Jedu Babola Maye Bajindi Nizum Kadre Zola Jazelo Samaraya Pe Akasamar Samaranza Shadara Samaraya Deata Gade Paramati Parasambati Buddhist Pabakunju Sumiki Tembutogi Chi Domarajim Heva Jishua Chuji Dagi Bajim Medimbe Shuring Batam Jishindo Kuri So Giri Donda Giri Shawana Meda Nebe Kenan Jawana Tempara Tuji Bezodo Taji Dinjan Dele Joy Yende Gunji Jeje Deje Teshe Damba Langyan Zawa Lebara Done Beba Damaye Kuba Chimbo Dembara Shinge Lenji Nyende Debe Desan De Shendo Nyanga Deje Shijura Nyadem Gondo Nyimbo Lebelo Genji Membara Java Shinge Lezo Yawa Chuye Chuboje Nyondo Jibe Chawa Temba Shibe Jizu Lidan Demaje Kana Lede Chije Dewa Nyambo Nembo Nyene Bezo Chaje Dewa Namja Pomba Gizo Dada Drupare Jabala Dadu Badan Dembare Shinge Jibe Mengon Dungi Ganji Go Yide Mero Sibe Benzo Nyemerine Tabi Dewala Denye Shimbo Yavara Shige Nanda Samba Deye Damba Ye Tena Shishe Paye Jimbo Tembe Zawa Sozo Dabala Droba Nyimbo Jeba Chige Rani Sezo Lova Jishendu Majan Drava Gwanja Tena Tone Jova Jive Gonjo Chanjo Sinjo Jova Chigyo Senza Jijia Duri Naso Komba Mena Janjo Mendo Labore Tone Jase Domba Zumba Tabu Labore Chigyo Lobe Yala Yawa Shiche Yana Dela Sishin Jova Shini Lano Sondo Drive Nyondo Jela Jewara Shinkyo Tamo Elanja Mendo Jovana Teva Ganje Chonjo Doji Kesa Injo Nyomon Damba Tela Nyondo Jovara Shinkyo Teze Mundo Namye Drubeshi Namda Damse Domba Sowa Chamai Mele Nyemba Nyo Ne Sono Donde Sovarai Chenje Tene Kyude Rimbo Rinye Nenai Chishin Done Zuma Teje Ninje Jole Meyo Dambe Zonshin Droba Shinje Tenarai Lansan Dembe Shinye Non Tsushin Lole Dronai Jade Chenai Nange Bado Jime Do Nyevara Shava Shinje Lado Kyawa Kondo Yana Lama Na Teme Shuge Bela Longju Sada Nange Yede Rado Ne Doji Change Koba Nyando Ejo Aye Jingam Bava Shamo Yemenda Bame Ayo Wanje Seje Saji Oyemenda Rege Ago Jejaru Goyo Goyo Sore Jebore Ra Shai Loba Moya Loya Damole Noya Bala Jai Jai Damoni Lena Lema Maya Damaya Yen Dona Jono Yadamonia Jadamonia Jada Remboche Revoya Basanje Yen Denya Baya Mame Baye Lodo Kolo Remboche Nebo Remboche Zambo Remboche Lebo Remboche Nambo Rinpoche, Najo Rinpoche, Mambe Rinpoche, Deje Baye Bomba, Ge Maya Chawa Ma, Le Maya Gara Ma, Medoma, Lube Maya Nase Ma, Deja Maya Nye Ma, Dawa, Rinpoche Do Jole Namore Jeve Jense Oza Laname Benje Benson Toba Matawa Mebo Taje Yido Mova Deda Jenje Tawa Jabare Jebe Abade Lama Taba Nada Nyame Shaji Jebo Lato Kota Jebana Shaba Neyan Jizya Lozan Dinze Wanda Tele Janzen Be Zambo Shingani Dibaje Sunje Zambo Sheye Yendo Shingan Bovare Jivu Doje Jebe Dendo Shiso Shene Andaso Sinje Nanje Lando Zewa Shimbi Goni Sishin Chodon Tomo Gengudo Maluba Zendo Yazaji Yeme Yeje Sangye chedan soge chanam la chanjo pardo daninja dage chuyin kime zonam chola benje sangye drobara Sangye chedan soge chanam la chanjo pardo daninja dage chuyin kime zonam ge chola benje Sangye chedan soge chonam la chanjo bardo dane jabzo dagi chuji gibe sonam chola benje sangye drobara sho. C'est pas péjama.
cancer no one again, could you see any part of relation? That show my because the case, should I get can I about then? Relation. But relation. It's wonderful to see you all here. I think many of us, we were here in the same Gomba last year. Yes. Yeah. When we were planning about the program, at first I thought something like, Jamkyo Rinpoche's Takur Among Yunzi, recognizing the mother and some other texts we were talking. And then later, precious Garland, Acharya Nagarjuna's precious Garland. Then this, I remember in '97, His Holiness giving this giving teaching on the precious Garland at the request of the late Geshe-la, Geshe Surim Genze, Geshe-la. And I think His Holiness gave this at UCLA, right? UCLA. Maybe around, in the summer, I think, in the summer. Yes. So I think many of you were at that time also had this precious opportunity to receive this wonderful teaching from His Holiness. So I thought this was auspicious, that this was auspicious, that to go and reflect on this text. After the Buddha passed away, and then with the 7 something like Tembe Terapdu, Tembe Terapdu. Then after the Buddha passed away, then there were something like the 7, I think, Sharvakas who carried on the lineage, the tradition, and then gradually, then there was, due to different circumstances, then something like the decline of the Dharma. Decline in the sense that it wasn't so mainstream, but of course there were those who practiced the Dharma and who carried on the teachings of the Buddha, perhaps something like in a low-key manner, like this. And then it was Acharya Nagarjuna. Then with this, then Acharya Nagarjuna, during his time, then he really propagated the teachings of the Buddha, and specifically what we call the Mahayana teachings. The Mahayana teachings. And in his collection, mainly, I think, 3 collections. So the collection of something like advice, or is it advice? Tamso. And then the second is Riksok, the collection of something like the logic, the reasoning for emptiness, Riksok. And then Dötsok, the collection of praises and hymns, right? So these 3 collections. Then this particular text, according to Je Rinpoche, it falls in the second collection, the collection of this Riksok, establishing the collection of establishing emptiness. And these 3 collections also correspond with the 3 wheels of the Dharma, right? So the first collection of something like sayings and advices and so on, then this correlate with the first turning of the Dharma, the first wheel. And then the collection of establishing emptiness, then which corresponds to the second turning of the Dharma. So mainly Pranjaparamita Yana, Pranjaparamita Sutras, and then the third, Dötso, the collection of praises and hymns. Then this is connected with the third turning of the Dharma. So to go with the Tibetan text, Gyār Gyedo Raja Parikata Ratna Mali Pegyedo Gyebo La Tamjawa Rinpoche Tengwa Samge Dan Shanju Semba Tamje La Changze Lo Nyebo Gyunle Namje Jing Yunde Gyungi Gyembo Simjin Gyungi Ninjubo Tamje Kien La Changze Los. So this text in the Indian language, it is called Raja Parikata Ratna Mali. And then from the Gangyur, then it pays homage to the Sangye dan Chanju Semba Tamje La Chanzelo, to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So during the time of, I think, King this Tibetan king Tizon Teuzen, then there was during his time, then he commissioned to catalog, the works, the translated works, texts of the Buddha. So into the three Pidakas, and those that are that fall in the first Pidaka, the first basket, Dharma basket of this Dövedene, the Vinaya Sutra. Then he made something like a rule that if this sutra, the translated sutra, if it falls into the Vinaya Sutra, then the homage which was put in by the translator, the Lotsawa, then the homage would be towards the omniscient one, the Buddha. And if the translated work falls into the category of Dodedene, which is the second, what is it called? Is it the Sutra, Vinaya Sutra, and then what is the second one? Sutras, yes, sutras, thank you, sutras. Then the homage is towards, the homage is paid to both the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and if and those that fall into the category of Abhidharma, then the homage is paid to Manjushri, since Manjushri is the embodiment of the Buddha's wisdom, is the embodiment of Buddha's wisdom. So the reason for this is so that when the person looks just at the beginning of the collected text, then is able to tell which category this falls into, and by extension of that, then which of the three higher trainings that this deals with, that this expounds upon. So this is a commentary to the sutras. So therefore, then paying homage to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And now the homage by Nagarjuna, Nyabo Gyunle Namjojing, Yunde Gyungi Gyambabo, Simjin Gyungi Nyenjubu, Tamje Kyanga Changse Laws. So in this book, I think this book, then he is utterly free from all faults and adorned with all good qualities, the one friend of all sentient beings. To that omniscient one I bow. In the Tibetan verse, there is no mention of he, so the Tibetan, then it sounds like utterly free from all faults. It begins like this, there is no mention of he is. So there is no he in the Tibetan text. So it goes more like utterly free from all faults and adorned with all good qualities, the one friend of all sentient beings. To that omniscient one I bow. So the first line, utterly free from all faults. This is referring to the quality of having overcome all obscurations. And then the second line, adorned with all good qualities. So like something like the 32 marks, or something like major signs, is it? And then the 80 minor signs, and so on and so forth. But mainly the quality of having gained realizations. So this is what I think is being referred to in the second line. That one friend of all sentient beings, to that omniscient one I bow. The Tibetan word for bow here is Shartse, Shartse. Usually in the verse it ends with Shartse lo, Shartse lo. So the meaning of this, of course, when we say bow, it sounds like it's a physical thing, right? That's like the first image that comes into mind. Yes, this is of course a form of bowing. So for bowing, then bowing at the, so this bowing that we usually associate with is on the physical level. It is the physical form of bowing. And then there is the verbal form of bowing, which is to praise and touch on the qualities, right? And to praise and to extol the good qualities of the Buddha, and so on and so forth. This is the verbal form of bowing. And then the mental form of bowing is of course reflecting on these good qualities, reflecting on the good qualities, and not only simply reflecting on the good qualities, but appreciating the good qualities of the object that one, of which of the object of bowing, the appreciation, to appreciate to the point that one also wishes for the qualities, that one actually wishes for the qualities of the Buddha. So this is the main form. This is like the real meaning, the true meaning of what it means to bow, Changsewa, right? So to aspire for the qualities of the Buddha, then this is to bow to the Buddha. What it means to bow to the Buddha. And if we can bow at that level, then this is simply not using like flowery words, or just trying to flatter the Buddha, but really then there is this sincere aspiration to become a Buddha. So this is then really taking what we call refuge in the three jewels. Taking refuge in the three jewels. So this is why at the beginning of many of these texts, we have what we call the chobar joba. Chobar joba is like pointing or reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha, of the object, right? For example, then like in the text, the commentary of the root wisdom by Acharya Chandrakirti, then of course the object of that homage is of course this great compassion, right? So paying homage to compassion. To pay homage to compassion is really to strive for compassion, to actually feel compassion, So same thing here. Then to pay homage to the Buddha is to feel the Buddha, to feel the Buddha nature, to be in that state, in the Buddha state, in the enlightened state. So as soon as one feels that, then one has then taken refuge. One has taken refuge, then one really, truly pays homage to the Buddha. So in this way, then I bow. This one friend of all sentient beings, one friend. I think this has some meaning to that, the one friend of sentient beings. Simjin Gyungi Nyen Chikbu. So, one friend, true friend, right? True friend. A friend whom we sentient beings can trust, fully trust. We can trust, we can rely on the enlightened one, on the Buddha. Why? Because for the simple fact that the Buddha is free from all destructive emotions and has great compassion. So then, to take refuge, this first chapter on Mandodang Nyele, Nombortova is Ascendance, and Nyele is highest good. In that, is it the same term used? Elevation and the highest good. Ascendance and highest good. So in the first verse, paying homage to the Buddha, and with this, then reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha, and then with the mind of actualizing those qualities, then to practice the Dharma. And how to practice the Dharma is mentioned in the remaining verses. So then, Gyabu Kyola Chödubshir, Chigdu Gewe Chöshede, Tambe Chöge Nölani, Chödubjurde Kanshigla, Tambur Ngombor Toye Chö, Chining Yebar, Legjungao, Kanjir Ngombor Totobne, Rimging Yebar, Levar Homes. King, I will explain to you the entirely auspicious Dharma, so that it may grow in you, for the Dharma becomes perfected in one who is a vessel of the true Dharma, in whom there is first the Dharma of ascendance, afterward arises the highest good, since after reaching ascendance, one proceeds gradually to the highest good. This king, Gebo Dejö Sangbo, what is the name in Sanskrit? Gebo Dejö Sangbo. Anyhow, this king and Acharya Nagarjuna have a very close relationship, and also this is the same king, the letter to our friend, also composed by Acharya Nagarjuna, is also to the same king, Gebo Dejö Sangbo. In Tibetan we say Gebo Dejö Sangbo. And there's one story I heard before, and then I asked over lunch Genpenzo Genzenla, and this king and Acharya Nagarjuna, somehow there's a special karmic connection that they will live to the same age. And then one day, the son, the prince, is given this marvelous like cloth, right? And he tells the queen that he will wear this on his coronation. But then the queen tells the prince that this won't happen in your lifetime, that you will not become king, because your father, the king, has the same lifespan as Acharya Nagarjuna, and that Acharya Nagarjuna will live for many years. Yeah, for many years. So anyhow, this will live longer than you was really the main point, right? And when hearing this, the prince becomes very sad, and then the queen, not being able to bear his sadness, then shows him a solution. The queen tells the prince, "Oh, there is still one way. There's still one way. What you can do is that you can request Nagarjuna to give up his life, and he will to give you his life, and he, being a bodhisattva, will give you his life." So the prince then goes to Nagarjuna and then requests for his life. So then, of course, Nagarjuna says, "Okay," and I think the prince tries to take Nagarjuna's life by trying to cut his neck, like with swords and things like that. But he was not successful. So then Nagarjuna tells him, with all these weapons and medals, you won't be able to take my life. Instead, bring a blade of grass, and with that, then you can take my life. You can take my life. So then, this is how the story ends, right? And here, then, it is said that Acharya Nagarjuna, in one of his previous lifetimes, had this karma, of I think cutting an ant with the grass, something like this, of killing an ant with grass. Maybe at that time was a farmer, something like that, right? So then this story, in a way, tells of the law of karma. It tells the story of the law of karma, the karma and its effect, and how karma, once it is acted, once it is formed, then it will simply not perish, but that its effect will take form, if not in this life, then in future lives. I will explain to you entirely the auspicious Dharma so that it may grow in you, for the Dharma becomes perfected in one who is a vessel of the true Dharma. So this Dharma is being referred to the Gyewa, virtue. Chudub churde kanshila tambo ngambor towe shine ngeba lejung wao. So the Dharma of ascendance and the highest good. These two, the Dharma, the ascendance or elevation is referring to high rebirth. So mainly the human rebirth or the is it in the God realm? God realm, I think, God realm. Is this the right term? When we have the 6 realms, the God realm, right? God realm. So the high rebirth refers to God realm and human realm. Ascendance, and then definite good or highest good refers to Tarbada Tamjekebe Kobang, to liberation and Tamjekebe Kobang, the state of omniscience. So there's in whom there is first the Dharma of ascendance. So to first take high rebirth and then to attain the definite good, liberation. To attain liberation, one proceeds gradually, then to the highest good. Through Here we maintain that ascendance is happiness and the highest good is liberation. In brief, faith and wisdom are the concise method for attaining them. Teji nijir chola de sherab denjir yanda ri dini zo sherab de te yungondo teba yins. Through faith, one partakes of the Dharma. Through wisdom, one truly understands. Of these two, wisdom is foremost, yet faith is its prerequisite. In brief, faith and wisdom are the concise method for attaining ascendance, which is high rebirth, and highest good, which is liberation. So faith, in the context of attaining high rebirth, then faith is the main method, and for attaining liberation, then wisdom is the main method. Faith here, I think, refers to the faith in karma, and its effects. Without having faith in karma and its effects, then it is not possible to really understand the connection between positive actions and their consequences. And by extension, then it is not possible to understand the connection with positive actions committed in one lifetime, and then the effects, the results that form in the future lifetime. So therefore, then to have faith in karma and its results, its effects. And based on this faith, then to engage, in the 10 virtuous actions and refraining from the 10 non-virtuous actions, then one attains future rebirth, either in the God realm or in the human realm. Through faith, one partakes of the Dharma. Through wisdom, one truly understands. Of these two, wisdom is foremost, yet faith is its prerequisite. So, just as faith is prerequisite to wisdom, so is high rebirth prerequisite for liberation, and vice versa. 대잉문도 대바인지 둔당 셰당 지보당 몽베 강식 최면다 대니 대바 젠시자 네버레비 뉴초인스. One who does not spurn the Dharma through desire, anger, fear, or confusion should be known as one with faith, a supreme vessel of the highest good. A supreme vessel of the highest good. So, this is in a way setting the criterion for the vessel of the highest good. So just to go back, and something like with the connection between ascendance and highest good. Ngondo dangele ascendance and highest good. So, what is high rebirth? High rebirth, in one sense, it is a rebirth in which one can engage in the 10 virtuous actions. I think this is one way of understanding high rebirth. A rebirth in which you can engage in the 10 positive actions, in the 10 virtuous actions, and also develop this further. That state is what we call high rebirth, high existence. So it's very much connected with the cause of high rebirth. In the form of the cause, in the form of karma, it is these 10 ways of engaging in positiveness or virtue, right? And in the effect form, in the resultant form, then it is the state in which one has that potential to continuing engaging in these 10 actions, virtuous actions. So cause and effect, it's very interesting that they are not two distinct states, but there is this continuum, that there is a similarity, there is a uniformity within that, right? So, what we call elevation, ascendance, high rebirth, this is engaging in the 10 virtuous actions. So to engage in ethical conduct, right? To engage in ethical conduct. Ethical activities, practicing, engaging in positive karma, positive actions. So this is the basis in the 3 higher trainings or 3 educations. Then ethical conduct is the base. we are not in the God realm. So God realm, for now, okay, we don't have to think. We are humans, so therefore, when we say high rebirth, okay, then we can think simply at the human level, at the human level. So then, to actualize high rebirth is to engage in the 10 virtues, in ethical conduct, in ethical actions, body, speech, and mind actions. And by virtue of that, then it's really about practicing being a good human, right? At the human level. So it's really about being a good human, a good person. This is the foundation, the basic foundation, the basis for our subsequent Dharma practice, our subsequent Dharma realizations, is our humanity, one's humanity. His Holiness Zong Rinpoche always stresses this point, to first practice kind-heartedness. And kind-heartedness is connected very much with ethical conduct. If one practices high kind-heartedness, compassion, then it would be impossible to engage in non-ethical activities. Simply, it is not possible to engage in non-ethical activities when in the state of compassion, right? So this is the most basic Dharma. This is the most basic Dharma. So in this sense, Dharma, at one level, does not require for us to even, I think, label ourselves as Buddhists, follower of Buddha Shakyamuni. It is not, I don't think it is not necessary. I don't think it is necessary to follow the Buddhist path, at least the so-called Buddhist path. We can have a discussion of what the Buddhist path is, right? Maybe later we can discuss. But anyhow, what I meant, as you know, is Buddhism as an institution, or Buddhism as an organization, right? Merely labeled. So so far, after the homage, with these few verses, there was no reference to the Buddha, the Dharma, or the Sangha. But it was really having to do with the mind and our thoughts and our motivations and how we conduct ourselves. So at this level, then it's really about practicing compassion, ethical conduct, engaging in the 10 virtues, engaging in the 10 virtues. Of course, we will go in depth later. Engaging in the 10 virtues is the main practice for high rebirth. It is the main practice for future high rebirth, and also since the one who is practicing the 10 virtue is already in this so-called high state, then practicing in the 10 virtue is also something like a sustaining cause for the present high rebirth as well. Sustaining the present high rebirth, sustaining and enriching this present state, our human state, this human rebirth that we find ourselves in, in this human rebirth state, then engaging in the 10 virtues is a real effective way of sustaining and enriching our rebirth, our lives. The 10 virtuous actions or the 10 positive actions, I think positive in the sense of, in the secular context, right? In the secular context, maybe positive. Of course, if one is already identifies as being on the Buddhist path, then virtue is also a good term. Positive or virtuous, depending on how we understand these terms, and many times I think our understanding of terms is much connected to our lives, our upbringing, our habitat like that. Sometimes words, even though they may not have any intrinsic qualities in themselves, yet they seem to, or we connect the words to our feelings. We may associate one certain word to a certain feeling, to a certain past experience. And then it seems that these words elicit some response, within our minds. So this is, it's interesting in that way. So I have to be mindful and very interesting nevertheless. Anyhow, positive and negative, I think His Holiness explains that this is in the secular context. Of course, then it's very based on whether it is harming someone, harming others or not, And virtuous seems more like with what we call nami. Nami is like the result, the resultant state, which seems to be more further away, and maybe perhaps even like leading, the result might, form in the next life or future lives, like that, right? So therefore, I think there was this distinction between these terms, but this is just some background information. Anyhow, in our case, I think both of these can be used interchangeably. But in terms of developing faith in karma, then we have to go from a very coarse understanding, like at the coarse level, then into something more subtle. There is naturally this progression. And when we think at the more coarse level, then this positive and negative action, I think, is very helpful at the coarse level. And then we can use that same logic or the same model, and then when we apply that, when we bring that together with the concept of future lives, then it makes it easier with what we call like virtuous actions and non-virtuous actions. here, then I think in the text it mentions that ascendance is happiness, right? Ascendance is happiness. Ascendance is happiness. Engaging in the 10 virtuous actions, when engaging in this, then it helps us deal with our emotions. For example, refraining from idle chatter, with too much, with engaging in idle chatter, then when engaging in idle chatter, we lose this sense of carefulness, for example, right? Or mindfulness. And we just like go with the currents of idle chatter. We are sort of now like riding on the waves of idle chatter, right? We're just floating here and there. At first, it seems entertaining. It may seem entertaining. It may seem fun. But after a while, then it becomes tiresome. Lack of energy you feel after engaging in all this idle chatter. And there's also something like a disorientation, I think sometimes. Like we talk and talk and talk and talk, and now what did we talk about? Right? So there's like disorientation, sort of something like confusion. So not engaging in idle chatter just for the sake of idle chatter, then with this, then there is instead, then we can use our time for something more productive, for a good purpose, for a productive, good purpose, and something like that brings benefit, something that brings benefit. So not engaging in idle chatter and instead making good use of this time, then that is happiness, right? That is turning away from wasting one's time. And wasting one's time is really like wasting one's potential. So in this sense, then all this ethical conduct based on compassion and compassion is the intent, and the 10 virtuous actions, specifically, I think the 7 physical and verbal actions, 3 and 4, these 7 are then ways of applying compassion. It's a practical way of applying compassion. Compassion in its as purely an emotion can propel oneself to take actions. When engaging in these actions, then we can, with some careful thought, then we can see that it is not all smooth sailing, that it is not so easy in applying or engaging in compassionate actions. So these 7 positively virtuous actions help. They help in focusing, in focusing and pointing us to different aspects of engaging in compassion. Love and compassion, they're like 2 sides of the same coin. Not much difference between love and compassion. Not much difference. Very similar. Both love and compassion are equal in the way that when we are in that state, then we have this strong wishing others to have happiness. To simply wish others to have happiness is not enough. To really assist others in happiness, then it is so helpful. It makes it much easier if we can assist from a state of happiness, right? So therefore, then engaging in compassion practice ourselves, this self-compassion, compassion for oneself, love for oneself, for our own well-being, for our well-being, to engage in that is like laying the groundwork for benefiting others, bringing happiness to others. In a way, when we bring happiness to others, what we are really doing is, I feel that we are sharing our happiness with others. And if we don't have happiness ourselves, then what is there to share? So, to bring happiness to others, then it can only be done by sharing our happiness, or shared happiness, so to speak, shared happiness. So in this way, then, ascendance, elevation, high rebirth is happiness for oneself, and then highest good is happiness for others. So we can relate to Ngonto and Nyele elevation, ascendance, and then definite good, highest good, on different levels. The more we can think from different viewpoints, from different facets, from different aspects, then I think there is a certain benefit in that, is that we are then able to see that it's something like, it's so vast, yet they all converge to the same point, so profound. of these two methods, wisdom is foremost and faith is its prerequisite. Faith and wisdom. Faith and wisdom. Here I think faith, as previously said, faith in karma and its effects. This is the prerequisite for wisdom. For wisdom. I think wisdom here refers to insight, right? Special insight. Emptiness, the view of emptiness, wisdom. Let us go with that. Faith in karma and its results is the prerequisite for the view of emptiness. In the Dharma, there is a strong emphasis on causes and conditions and their results. Causes, conditions, and effects. Right from the onset, from the very beginning, from the first discourse that Buddha Shakyamuni gave, on the Four Truths. On the Four Truths. The causes and effects of samsara and the causes and effects of turning away from samsara. The cause of samsara, karma and klesha, and then the result is suffering or samsara. And then the causes of turning away from that is the path, the true path, and then the effect is true cessation. So the Buddha always taught in terms of causes and effect, causes and effects. Causes and effects. Without understanding causes and effects, then there is no way we can establish the connection between our activities and the results or the experiences we go through. And if we are not able to do that, then when going through the unpleasant experiences, then we are not able to see understand how that came about. And instead, then we, in our wishful thinking, then we try to blame someone else, you know. It's called the blaming game? Blame game? What? Blame game, thank you. Then this is how the story of the blame game starts, without understanding causes and conditions. The blame game. So then, causes and conditions, to really understand this, the subtlety of that is really something, as we all say, is beyond our human mind, because we are so limited. But nevertheless, to try to see and then learn from the scriptures how causes and conditions and their results are connected. And with this understanding, then it helps us to see something like what we call the conventional nature of the things around us, the conventional nature of our world, external and internal. It helps us to see how they are connected. And building on these causes and conditions, and then seeing the conventional nature and developing this further, then we are able to understand what we call dependent arising, dependent origination. And then through dependent origination, then we can gain special insight, right? So then in this way, faith in causes and conditions in general, and specifically in karma and its results, the connection between karma and its results, helps to develop wisdom. Tinyin zo sherabde te yungondo teba yins. Tinyin zo sherabde te yungondo teba yins. faith, teba, faith, somehow this word, it reminds of this story, during wasn't it George Adisha? A person asks him why. He asks, why we Tibetans don't have realizations. Something like that, right? And then I think Adisha replies something like, at this moment you don't even have something so basic such as faith. And without faith, then how can you have these realizations? This is not the exact, I don't remember the exact story, but it's something along those lines. And then he emphasizes on this word, teba, teba. Yeah, he emphasizes on faith. So faith, it is really about, I think, having confidence, having trust, in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Confidence, trust. And this great Buddha wasn't always, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni was not always Buddha, right? But at one point was just like us and went through all the experiences of samsara, just like us. And by engaging in this two, ascendance and definite good, by practicing the causes of high rebirth and the causes of liberation, then attained the state of Buddha. As the first verse from the Lamrim Chemo, elucidates. So just like that. And I think this is something very encouraging, that the Buddha, that actually all Buddhas at one point were in the same situation, in the same state as each of us. No difference there. And through engaging in the 10 virtues and then building upon that and developing those 10 virtues even further, then attained the state of Buddhahood. By engaging in faith and wisdom, attained the state of Buddhahood. So I think this is a good word to auspicious, somehow auspicious. Okay. Sashi Peki Joshi Mendo Dam Rirab Nijinili Sange Shindu Midevo Tugun Namda Shinda Juvara Jo Idama Guru Ranamen Neandaya Me